Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. All right, so today was the day where Caitlin Clark and the Kelce brothers sat down for one of the most exclusive interviews in 2025. This interview was all over the internet. There was already clips of it and everything like that. But Caitlin Clark really is what you could say when we say she was good with the media, she is good with the media. But this was more of a fun-loving podcast. She was able to get sat down. She was able to have fun, something that we haven't seen her have fun in the last few interviews that she had. It was always just serious talk or talking about nonsense. But she was able to sit down with Jason and Travis Kelsey and just talk about sports in general. Just talk about her growing up, how she was recruited at the 7th grade, how dad and mom didn't want her, to be, thinking about basketball at a young age, and keeping her grounded, where she didn't even have to worry about playing so many games when she started playing AAU. And that's just some of the stuff that they would talk about. They even talked about her being a Chiefs fan, talking about being at Taylor Swift concert, talk about the WNBA, the NBA, football. You could just tell that Caitlin Clark really enjoys talking sports. And that's something that the Kelce brothers brought wholeheartedly. But without further ado, I have a few clips. I'm about to get right into it.
One thing, you mentioned the vets, and I think, for me at least, there was a lot. Some vets were incredible. Some of the vets, obviously, you're competing for jobs, so there's a little bit there, but you lean so much as a young player on your vets, and you lean so much from even just in Philly, there's so many great players that played for the Eagles that Harold Carmichael, who was a legendary Philadelphia Eagle, was always around and willing to lend advice or anything. Did you have many former players or current players reach out to you that really helped you in transitioning into the WNBA?
Yeah, there was, quite a few. Somebody that comes to the top of my head is Tamika Catchings, who was an MVP in the WNBA.
Yep.
Yeah.
She won their championship here. I want to say 2012 when the Fever won their championship. She was what made the Indiana Fever really good. That was our prime. That was when we were really good. And then after Tamika retired, the Fever kind of went down a little bit, as every team does once your, franchise player retires and moves away from basketball. And she's still really big here in the Indianapolis community. And she was one of the first people to text me after I got picked and still checks in on me. So it's cool.
Awesome.
It's
Cool.
Somebody that's not in your building every single day, but means so much to your community and to the organization. And to have that, she's a legend. Her number's up in the rafters. That's somebody I idolized and looked up to. And for her to just take, 2 seconds to check in on me and see how I'm doing. And that's obviously really special. So I would certainly say her. And we still have that relationship and it's still growing, and she still comes around now and then, and her championship trophy that she won sits in our locker room. It's right next to my locker. I'm great. The coaches probably placed that down.
Yeah, right. Hey, no pressure.
Yeah. So I have to look at it every day.
These are the shoes.
It's got its own glass case. I'm great.
Oh yeah, better. Hell yeah, better. Just a little motivation. This is what we're working for.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So, but yeah.
We were not drafted in the first.
All right, so that's clip one. It talks about how, how when you come in as a rookie, you kind of look for somebody to kind of show you the way. You know what I'm saying? And when we all know when Caitlin got there, there wasn't that Erica Willie could say took her under her wing. Then eventually, Kelsey Mitchell started coming around and stuff like that. Leah Boston, because she was a 1-year vet. She was she's got drafted the year before, but there was no others, and you can say Timmy Fambelli. She was another one that was really gracious to Caitlin Clark, and was there in her corner. So Caitlin, there was a few, but it's not like having a bunch of veterans coming in there. And like she said, that somebody that been with the Fever franchise for a long time, like Tamika Catchings, was easily gracious to come in there and wrap her arms around Caitlin and give her some sound advice and still give her advice to this day. But the most important thing, she said that, and Tamika Catchings was smart. She knew having a generational player like Caitlin Clark coming to this team where you already had a Leo Boston, and put that trophy right in there by her her locker, is going to give motivations, because that's what she's want her to strive for, to bring another title to the Indiana Fever franchise. All right, so we're going on to clip 2.
You pulled that out of my ass. They are fun to watch right now.
So, well, let's ask this: what are your suspicions potentially as to why the NBA ratings would be down?
Honestly, I feel like the average just basketball fan doesn't understand how good NBA players are, and they think it looks like they're not trying. I promise you they're trying. They're just so good. That's why it looks like they're not trying. And obviously the physicality of the league has changed a lot, and I wasn't around when it was much more physical, and maybe people want more beef and physicality, and people think it's gotten soft. But I think that's also because the skill has just changed, and that's what's great about basketball. It's always evolving. It's going to be different than when MJ played. It's going to be different in 10 years than it is now. So it's hard for me to put my finger on why it has gone down. And also it's competing against a lot of football right now. You have to take that into consideration. Football is just, that's America's favorite thing. I think people should I love 3-point shooting. I love seeing guys just launch threes, but not everybody loves that. So I don't know.
What do you think about a 4-point line?
I love that. Let's do it.
That's actually
a great idea.
Genius. That is genius.
4-point line.
How does the criminal justice major come up with the best marketing plan right here?
Sometimes you just got to open your eyes, Jason. Look at the sheet of paper in front of you.
Or we could get just 2 spots.
Yeah.
What about you're saying that everybody's questioning how physical the game is. What do you think a hockey style fight once a game? Just everybody picks a fighter.
Who doesn't like a
boxing gloves? So
2-minute penalty box, and you can come back in. You don't get ejected.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Dude's got some reach on him.
Bring that physicality
back. The hockey guy wants that.
What about an NBA jam rule where if you start making a third bucket, it's worth more.
It's heating up, you're on fire.
If you're on fire, it's worth more. So I don't know. That'd be dope.
That would be cool. Cool.
Just made me want to play NBA Jam. Have you ever played NBA Jam, Caitlin?
Yeah, I used to have this it was the whole arcade, the arcade
That's
NBA
so
Jam.
sick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Legit.
I haven't played in a while, but yeah.
Is it potentially because they're playing too many games?
So they talked about a lot of things in that clip about the NBA and how how the league is right now, and ratings and all of that stuff like that. So, and it just goes to show you how well she pays attention to this stuff. She pays so much close attention to what's going on in all of these sports. I mean, she literally could talk football, basketball, soccer, hockey, golf, you name it. And it's just extraordinary just to how she's like, hey, we need to have a 4-point line, or put it in different sections. And people don't realize, see, what makes Caitlin Clark so great, not just because on the floor, but her marketability. She's a marketing major. So therefore she knows the game. She knows what it takes. She knows what innovation looks like. And when you have that, and that's why I don't understand why the WNBA doesn't take what she knows and help elevate the game a little further. Her not saying she has all the answers, but she has some of the best ideas that she could put out there, and they could say, let's try this for All-Star Weekend. Maybe they could take that idea and say, hey, let's try this for All-Star Weekend, have a 4-point play. You know what I'm saying? There ain't too many people in the W could shoot for 4-point play, 4-point. I say Sabrina and her. I don't know who else, but I think for the NBA itself, with the ratings being low and having the best ratings on Christmas Day, it's just going to show that you need somebody there that you can market around to push the NBA a little further, and they don't have that now. Especially with LeBron turning 40 and he's almost out the door. KD is not who he was before because of injury. Steph is getting old, but he still thrills people. So you're not marketing around him. So the Luka Doncic, the Ant-Mans, Wembyama, it's just, they're gonna have to be the ones carrying the league, and they got to be able to allow themselves to be a little bit accessible and marketable. So on to the last and final clip, and then I'll wrap it up.
And like you come in as a rookie, and like you said, like you're trying to figure out a new environment, new teammates. Like you don't want to say too much, you don't want to say too little, and it's just so hard. But like in my scenario, and obviously you guys too, like you're already highly thought of. Like people are turning to you to like be something or be someone. So it's hard. Like you're trying to get your feet wet, but also not do too much. And I think that's kind of what I struggled in early on is like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how they're going to react.
For not knowing, you nailed it.
But also like I had a lot of really good vets around me too. So I feel very grateful for that. And we had a fairly young team too. So like people had been through it fairly recently. So they knew how I felt. But like, I feel like that definitely is a huge challenge. And that goes for whatever professional sport. Like you're trying to learn, but also people are looking at you like you got to perform and like be what they drafted you to be. And that can be.
And to that point, what she's saying is that she has so much expectations coming in as the number one pick, and not saying that she was not going to exceed them expectations, but a lot of doubters thought she was going to exceed them. She didn't. She was not going to meet them expectations as well. They thought that she was going to come in and fall flat on her face. We already heard the naysayers. We already know the names. We don't have to even relish into them. But we already knew. But she came in. Yeah, she had a rough first part of the season, but at the same time, she had to get used to a coach that don't know how to coach. She had to get used to teammates that are used to being one-on-one and not so much of a team. Leo Boston, she was the former number one pick. So, and then you sign all of these players to high salary cap contracts. And guess what? Everybody just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And now that this team is going in a better direction, you'll see a better continuity with this team, and their mission is going to be different. It's not going to have the same mentality now. Say, well, Caitlin is a rookie, because when Caitlin late in the first half of the season, going into the second half, things was coming a little bit more easy. Teams start the players on the team was able to come together. They was able to say, okay, she knows what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Even at an All-Star weekend, she was, giving direction to some of the vets that was on there, like Nika and DeWanna Bonham, because they're not used to playing with a person that has a high IQ. I'm not saying some of them don't have IQ, but there's nobody in the game of basketball and women's basketball has a very high IQ than Caitlin Clark. It's not that. It's not that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is that Caitlin understood this going in. She understood, hey, how can I navigate this? How can I put myself in position to not show that, be like, oh, what, I'm it. But and then, had to play the role a little bit. And once you got the feel of all your teammates, then boom, you was able to like start voicing your opinion a little bit more, be a little bit more authoritative. So, and that's just it. That's just it. But she understood the game. She knew what she was doing and everything like that. So salute to Caitlin Clark. Well, like I said, this is probably one of the best interviews she did. I mean, they also talked about her being recruited at Notre Dame, and Iowa. She wanted to go to Notre Dame, but she ended up going to Iowa because she wanted to bring credibility back to Iowa. A team that didn't have the limelight like it was. Yeah, they was in tournaments here and there, but she wanted to put them on that national stage, and she did that. And people sit here to say all they want about, well, you know, Angel Reese was at Maryland. She beat Caitlin Clark. when she was at Iowa. Okay, that's fine and good. But Caitlin Clark stayed at Iowa. She didn't transfer. She didn't go in the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? When she already talked about that, talked about how the transfer portal is being egregious, you know what I'm saying? Where, people just want to stay in for more money and then have 4, 5, 6 years in the college and then decide to come out because they want to transfer to different schools to get paid more money. That's the same thing Angel Reese did. She went to get more money. She went to a top school that already had a squad. So there wasn't nothing more that she could do, just add what she had to add. But she won a title. But would she would have won a title at Maryland? No, she wouldn't have won a title at Maryland. And all and all of them Reese fans knew that. They want to hold that because she won a title at LSU. But guess what? Caitlin Clark has beat her too. Yeah, she might have beat her in the championship, but Caitlin Clark has beat her and has beaten her in the W and will win a WNBA title before Angel Reese in the W. So that's what it is. And then she talked about, basketball shoes. She loves her Kobe's 6. She loves Kobe shoes. She loves it a lot, So that's, she talked about a lot of different things, So, it's just some of the stuff that, you think about. But hats off to Jason and Travis Kelsey. They made this podcast fun for her. They made it a welcoming. They made it feel like home. Travis Kelsey already said that, hey, she's more than welcome. She's welcome to all the Chiefs games. So therefore, she has an open invitation at any time she wants to. So hey, you might see her there in the playoffs. So you talk about ratings going to be really high because you're going to have Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark there. Oh yeah, must see TV. So anyway, but that's a pretty good set. I have to give my hats off to Caitlin Clark. She really locked down this interview because it was fun. It wasn't tense. It wasn't really all over the place. And I like it. And I enjoyed it myself. And pretty much I'm going to go back and probably watch it and listen to it again because that's how much I liked it. And maybe there's some other points I might just tag along in another video later on. But until then, it's your boy Livewire Sports. Until the next episode, I'm out. Peace.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.